There was a time when it seemed every company wanted to compete in the MMORPG market, which is currently dominated by Final Fantasy XIV. When something is so successful, it's understandable why developers want to compete and attempt to take a slice of that pie. I've been following the news of Bandai Namco's MMO Blue Protocol since its reveal in 2018. Information about the game was scarce for a while, but ahead of its release in Japan, we were eating well on development updates. Sadly, the global release has been delayed till 2024. So I decided to use my understanding of Japanese to put together an early impressions for you all. However, fate had other plans. Before we get into the video, we'd like to thank our Patreon supporters for making this possible. Please take a second to check out patreon.com/noisypixel to support independent game journalism. Shortly after its release in Japan, several emergency maintenance periods were performed due to players being unable to log in. In fact, the onslaught of logins were so great that even the Bandai Namco ID service itself was overloaded. This isn't too uncommon, and I'm practically used to this from seeing gacha game releases have emergency maintenance due to the incredible amount of players. The maintenance cycle continued for a few days, with it being accessible at random times. Still, when it worked, I managed to play through its tutorial and initial chapter, finding it captivating with its anime-style cutscenes and unique systems. This is, however, until June 17th. After 2 to 5 minutes of being logged in, many users, myself included, were starting to error out, with the code in question saying that this computer or account has been found in confirmed violation of the terms in service. Further play will now be suspended. The link to the Bandai Namco Support Center and the confirmation button closing the game. You can log in after that, but you will constantly be kicked out afterwards. At first, players were confused as to why this error message suggested they were banned until finding that one possibility would be caused by the anti-cheat software known as Zyncode 3, which is used in other MMOs. Similar to software like Denuvo, it buries itself in the kernel of your operating system and scrubs the PC occasionally. However, what sort of information it sends back is still largely unknown, but many believe this software was misfiring and causing the error. Later on, it was found out that if you deleted the temporary files, the error would no longer appear. So, hooray, crisis averted, right? Well, not quite. After 4 hours had passed since players discovered this solution or fix, numerous reports surfaced where another error popped up, but this time on the title screen. This error had a more direct message saying that your account was suspended due to a confirmed violation of the terms of service. Unfortunately, my account also fell victim to this so-called ban wave. Fortunately though, I was lucky and did not spend any money, but I have heard that some players spent real money only to have their accounts banned. Now, I'm not going to say that Bandai Namco is in the wrong here, especially since, as some people have pointed out, the terms of service do seem to clearly state that the Japanese version is meant for players living in Japan only, which is fair. It's not like they're the first to implement such a thing. For example, the Japanese version of Sega's Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis has one such lock. If you attempt to access it with a foreign IP, it'll just boot you with a connection error, saying you cannot connect to the servers. Naturally, this can be circumvented with a VPN, and I know several players who've been doing this and playing the Japanese version for years without a warning or ban. What's confusing here is that users with and without a VPN were seeing the same prompt. Further, even some Japanese users were affected, with some rumors stating that all you had to do was matchmake with a foreign player and you'll be banned. I should add that I'm not saying this all to blame any party, but I am kinda confused about the solution being a ban wave. We're in 2023, the region locks should be a thing of the past, especially since many overseas players, like myself, want to play the Japanese version and maybe make new online friends, but this whole event has minimized any hope of playing this release at its official launch. There is so much to look forward to in this adventure, but we'll all have to wait until 2024 to experience it. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers providing independent gaming coverage through news, reviews, previews, and more. Check out our Patreon to help support our continued growth, and subscribe to keep up with all our future content.
Noisy Pixel.